Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we are sharing our first video in our new Artist Spotlight series. For anyone that hasn't seen any of our previous posts about this is a new series we've introduced this year where we welcome some very talented local artists who use our products to create in our studio. Alongside the creations, we do a Q&A session where we get to learn more about each artist, how they got started, and some great tips for anyone just starting out their journey. Each month we'll be sharing a new artist and the projects that they create with us. Not only will we be creating full-length process videos of what they make in our studio, we will also have TikTok videos as well as a blog article where you can learn more about each artist. For our April Artist Spotlight, we have Indianna from Homewing Creative. Indianna is a local Perth artist that loves working with a variety of mediums. For this particular artwork, Indianna combined Jesmonite, alcohol inks, uresin BuildFX, and uresin UltraCoat to create this incredible beach-inspired artwork. Indy started out by creating both Jesmonite and BuildFX mountains and allowed them to cure. Both of these products have short working and demold, making them perfect to create and combine with resin projects shortly after. Once the molds were poured, it was time to create the first layer of uresin BuildFX that was used as a sandy textured layer. Uresin BuildFX is a texture paste and epoxy hybrid product with a 20-minute working time and allows you to pour resin over it after just 30 minutes. After the first layer was down, Indy added some white sand and a range of shells. Then using a paintbrush, brush the edges of the BuildFX to create a smoother edge. Then it was on to the alcohol ink layer. Indy used two different Pinata alcohol inks and with a wet wipe dabbed the inks onto the board. This splotching-like effect is what will create depth once the resin layer gets added. Indy said to us that she primarily works on single-layer pieces as she's a full-time FIFO worker, business owner and mum, so she's always short on time, but it also keeps her cost and wastage down, whilst also making her artworks more affordable for those wanting beautiful handmade resin art. The use of alcohol inks on a base layer helps add depth and gives the artwork a three-dimensional look without having to apply numerous resin layers. After she was happy with the inks, Indy began demolding the mountains and applying them to the BuildFX. As this was still slightly wet, it was easily added to the sand area. Indy then uses alcohol inks on the first Jesmonite mountain to add more depth and a more realistic finish. Then it was time to add the resin. Unfortunately, our first camera died as Indy had just started applying resin and we didn't notice. But basically, Indy mixed up a batch of uresin UltraCoat. This is our high viscosity artwork resin. Indy said this is her favorite resin to work with as it gives her more control with where her colors go, how they blend, and holds herself so much better compared to our other resins. It also avoids wastage as she can easily calculate the right amount of resin she needs for a board and doesn't have it spilling off the sides like a lower viscosity resin would. This MDF board that she used was also a sample we had laying around in the studio that Indy was keen to try. It has a vinyl edging around already applied to the board, so it creates a border around the entire board and also meant no resin runoff. Once Indy had poured the colors down, she applied a small amount of heat to assist the colors in blending as well as bursting any bubbles before applying a thin layer of white resin along the textured sand line. Whilst this sat for a little while, it was back to the mountains. Indy demolded another Jesmonite and BuildFX mountain in slightly different styles, positioned these into the first layer of BuildFX, and then coated with more BuildFX to create a more textured mountain design. Once she was happy with this, alcohol ink was applied again to the tops of the mountains, similarly to how the first one was done. Then it was time to create waves. Using the heat gun, Indy blew the white resin over the other colours to achieve the cell effect. Once she was happy with the cells she created, it was again back to the sandy texture layer. He adds more sand to the layer as well as some artificial greenery around the mountain bases. Then a final layer of BuildFX was added to create more texture, which was again covered in sand and more shells. For the final touch, Indy had brought along a small turtle that was then placed into the sand. We absolutely love this piece that Indianna created, and we were all so inspired after watching her create in the studio. This artwork is now on display in our Maddington store for anyone that does want to see it up close and personal. Photos and videos simply don't do it enough justice of just how beautiful this turned out. If you would like to learn more about Indianna, which we hope you do, then our blog article is now live on our website and linked in the description box below, along with her social links, favourite products to use, and more about her creative processes. We hope you enjoyed our first episode of our monthly artist spotlight with Indianna from Homewing Creative. This piece did take a little over 2.5 hours to create in a single session in our studio, so you would have noticed along the way we've sped up parts of the process throughout. If you did enjoy this longer form of video, please leave us a comment below because we'd love to hear from you. As always, we'll list all of the products used in the description box below, which are all available on our website at www.uresin.com.au. We have Zip and Afterpay available with affordable shipping Australia-wide. If you have any questions, please leave us a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more weekly videos. We'll see you in the next one.